All right, what's up? Welcome back for another awesome episode of the Fit 40 podcast. I'll admit this is take three. The first one ended up like shit. Bella walked in on the next one, and Bella's my cat, for those of you that don't know. So this is round three. I'm hoping third time's the charm, because this is an important topic. Today we're going to be talking about why you aren't seeing results, because this is one of those things that a lot of people don't really understand. They think that they're just not doing the right program or that they just need more willpower. But if we're being honest, this is the real reason why. And I hope that it helps. It's not meant to criticize or condemn, it's just to shed light on actually what's going on and give you some strategies on exactly how to fix that. So let's talk about it. Oh, but before we do, just know that anybody watching on YouTube, I know that I changed the format up. I don't have my slides up this time. So I'd rather it be more like a one-on-one, just like you and me style. So if you like this, awesome. I'm going to keep doing it. But if you like the slides, the PowerPoints, and those like pictures that I put up, then feel free to let me know. I'm always willing to go back. I do this for you guys. So however you prefer it. All right. So when it comes to the big problem, number one is the same actions, or really the only one is that we're doing the exact same actions expecting a different result. Okay. We're continually putting a bow on a turd. And I know that sounds weird, but if you ever heard the analogy, like you could put a bow on a turd, but it's still going to be a turd, that's basically what I'm saying. And those bows that we keep trying out are that next diet, that next workout program, that next piece of workout equipment. Those are just bows. They're not the actual meat of it or the turd of it. Okay. So what the real problem is that shiny object syndrome. Always jumping onto that next thing, thinking this is it. This is what's going to change everything, even though it's just a method or it's just a thing. It's not an actual skill. It's not something that you can do repeatedly. It's just this is taking up space right now. It's not actually teaching you anything for the future. Okay, it's the same action. Trying things on your own without zero, or sorry, you're trying things on your own without any guidance or implementation. It's just here's this workout program, make it happen. Don't care if you've had the week from hell. I don't care if you're super stressed out. You got to make it happen. Maybe you've like bought a program like this or quote unquote coaching where they say they're going to coach you and you get a cookie cutter program and they're like, well, why aren't you doing my 5 day a week program? Even though you're a busy mom with a million stressors going on and they expect you to be perfect at everything. Yeah, that's not coaching and that's not teaching you anything valuable. It's not really addressing the real issues. And that is, I call it the glue. So when it comes to coaching in particular, I tell everybody it's not macros, it's not workouts. It's literally just figuring out why you can't do the basics, that in between space. It's like, okay, we have these programs that work. Why are they not getting done? Oh, I'm super stressed out, or oh, I have no time, or things like that. And then troubleshooting that. Those are the skills that you need to learn is okay, when I have the week from hell, what does that week look like in comparison to the best week ever where I can actually do this program? Okay. What does a program look like when you're coming right back from vacation and you feel like crap and you feel unmotivated? What do you need to do? Those are the things you got to learn. Not, oh, I just need to get motivated again by snapping my fingers and jumping on this new program over and over again, even though I'm going to lose all the results again. All right. And the reason that this happens so many times is number one, fear of change, because we like doing what we like doing and we like getting motivated and feeling great and like feeling inspired in the moment and jumping on something when we're feeling this way, even though that thing is not going to get us what we actually need, which is those skills. And number two is it's not really a priority. When it comes down to it, if you were to write down your top five priorities, then chances are fitness and nutrition just aren't on there, even though it sounds like they should be and it you feel like they are, but they're not actually. And if you really, really want to know what your priorities are, two easiest ways are your calendar and your wallet. So take a quick look at those and see what actually takes up most of your time. So when it comes to your time, most of us usually work is priority number one because it fuels all the things that we do with our family and everything in between. So work is usually number one, family's number two. If you're religious, faith is usually somewhere number three, and then four, five, six, seven, eight is always like a crapshoot. But if we're being honest, a lot of people's four or three, if they're not super spiritual, is their downtime, their me time to watch Netflix, to read a book, to like do whatever where they get a break from the day. And that Number five, again, is usually a crapshoot, and it's usually not nutrition or fitness, especially if you look at the wallet. Like if you're spending a $10 membership at Planet Fitness, but you never go, or you bought like 1 month's worth of prepared meals from Factor or something and never actually ended up renewing the subscription or buying another box, and maybe it's still sitting in the freezer, then okay, you've probably spent 0.00001% of your finances towards getting healthier. Okay. So let's be honest for a second. Take 2 seconds. I know that like there's a lot of things that I say on these podcasts, but if we're going to talk action steps and figure out, okay, what's one thing that I can do from this podcast, make that list. Write down your top five priorities and see where you actually are. Not where you think you are, not what sounds good, where you actually are. And that'll help a lot. And then you can figure out, okay, if this is truly a priority right now and I don't want it to be, like say that free time is taking up way too much space in your calendar and you're just spending 4, 5, 6 hours watching TV shows or consuming social media, trim that down, and then maybe nutrition and fitness make their way up the list. And the closer they can get to that top five, maybe they will break the top five. That's when real change starts. And that's when you start getting the results that you want because you care enough to make it a priority. Okay. Now, if we don't do that, what it usually leads to is one, never ending challenges like, or never ending books like that next diet book that you want to read, or just diets in general. And just special note here, if you're constantly buying that next diet book and changing your diet like a full 180 all the time, just know that is the worst thing you could do because diet books, especially the best selling books, are usually garbage. Professional Professionals in the nutrition and health space don't write these books that are bestsellers. They just don't because they're too busy practicing. But the quacks that want to sell you on the next greatest thing because you're eating all this food that's toxic and all this crap, okay? Those are the people that are on social media because they can't actually get a job in their related field or they're the losers that spent too much time on social media. And I speak on this because like my girlfriend's a doctor and she tells me all the time about people that like quote like say they're doctors online and they're sponsored by Figs and they've got like featured in BuzzFeed and things like this and they flunked out. So just know that more times than not, if you're going by the popular people, you're getting crap information. Um, but anyway, I digress. Okay. We don't want to get on that never ending wheel of challenges, books, and diets. Okay. And then what that usually leads to when we do that stuff is losing results as quickly as you got them because there's no skills being learned. It's just do this unsustainable approach that's going to starve you for a little bit or as long as you can put up with it. And then as soon as you hop off, it all comes right back. And what this does is it wastes a lot of money and usually wastes more money in the long term because for example, like if you were to hire a solid coach, the going rate per month for a good coach that's going to teach you everything you need to learn is anywhere between like that 200 to 500 per month mark. So let's say you hire somebody for 3 to 6 months and you bite that bullet. Okay, so that's like we'll go on the high end for that's $1,500 to $3,000 in 6 months to learn everything you need to learn. By the way, special note, I am a fraction of that because I don't feel good about charging people $500. Um, but anyway, let's say you spend that $1,500 to $3,000. Cool. Okay, 3 to 6 months, learn what you need to learn. You get the life skills and you've locked it in and you don't need a coach anymore because you know exactly what to do and you've built the momentum to get yourself going and learn the skills that you need to learn to do it. Now, let's take the other option and say, okay, I'm going to do this Optavia, for example. Okay, that is the exact same price, and you can never hop off because if you hop off, it's your fault and you're going to lose all of the results. Now, okay, so there's $3,000 wasted or actually well spent. Okay, that's one option. Or let's say you go really cheap and you just have a never ending subscription to, I don't know, Weight Watchers. I don't even know what they run for anymore. We'll say $30 to $50 a month. So let's say you do that and like most people with Weight Watchers, because if we're talking about the majority of the people, okay, they struggle and they're always hopping on and off, always thinking that it's their fault. So let's say it's 50 a month, I guess. So we'll divide that 3,000 divided by 50. That's about 60 months, which would be about 5 years. So every 5 years, that's about $3,000. How long have you been on Weight Watchers? And how much are we actually blowing over the course of 10, 20, 30 years? Okay. And I'm not just picking on Weight Watchers. There's a million other programs out there, but just know this isn't like, okay, I'm spending this little money. It's not a big deal. It adds up. All right. It adds up. And if you're going to do this, you might as well do it right. Get it done. And on top of that, do it in the shortest time frame because a lot of these things are 30 pounds in 30 days or whatever. But that stuff isn't actually short term. That's long term stuff because you lose it and then you gain it right back and then some. And you're doing that for 10, 20, 30 years, as opposed to 3 to 6 months where it's like, okay, I pay this all at once, but then I never have to pay it again. And I get the results that I want in that 3 to 6 months. So it's like, what's the real short term option here? Okay. So the fix is let's stop making emotional decisions first and foremost, because if we're being honest, those decisions to do these diets, to jump on these workout plans, to do all this stuff is usually we have one bad weekend or maybe a long stretch and we finally decide to hop on the scale and bite the bullet and see what damage has been done. And it's like, oh, crap. I can't believe I let myself go get this bad. And then you're like, I got to fix it. I got to make up for lost time. I got to do something drastic. And you jump on that program that looks like it's going to be the fix, but it's not. Okay. Because if we were deciding with logic rather than emotion, logic should be, okay, what should I do to learn what I need to learn so this doesn't happen again? Not, oh, what's that next one that's going to trim all this weight off so I can really like focus on the good stuff and the stuff I know I need to do after that point. Okay. Because if that's the logic, it's never going to happen. And you're just going to keep doing this over and over and over again. The real secret to everything that we're talking about right here is doing the work that you're avoiding. That's usually where the secret sauce is. It's doing the work that we've been putting off, that we don't value, that we know we should be doing, but we just don't do it. Okay. Things like taking a hard look at your life and saying, okay, what is throwing me off? What is it that needs to change? So if I'm stressed all the time, this new hardcore approach is not going to do the job. I need to learn how to manage my stress and how to acclimate to it, how to change my workouts, how to change my nutrition, how to manage all of this in this grand scheme of life that I have going on right now, because it's really all about mastering how to balance everything. And it's hard. It's not easy. And it's very individualized, which is why these cookie cutter programs don't work. Okay. When it comes to real coaching, that comes down to having real conversations and having somebody on the end of a phone or in a Zoom call and saying, okay, what's going on with your life? Let's figure out some strategies. Let's run those strategies and let's see what happens. And if it works, awesome. Keep that in your tool belt. If it doesn't, cool. I got another thing for us to try. That's coaching. It's not, here's the program, here's the check in. Let me know if you need anything. Bye. All right. So that's one of the big things that I want to hammer home right now is having somebody in your corner is worth it, because I know when it comes to this topic, the first thing that always comes up is can't justify the expense. My kids come first. We got a family vacation coming up. Just bought a new car. Got to do renovations on the house. Like I get it. There's a million and one expenses, and it seems like something that you just can put off, put off, put off, but it isn't. All right. And if we're being honest, okay, another really good thing that you can do right now is understand that it's not like you're saving money because you're always spending it and you're always losing money in one way or another. Case in point, when it comes to maybe not money is the right word, it comes down to like what are you losing in general? So when it comes to everything that is going on right now that you're not happy with, whether it be you feel super overwhelmed all the time, you're not happy with your self-image, that self-image that you have of yourself, or that image that you have of yourself is making you talk negatively about yourself, which is also then rubbing off on the kids. And now they have a bad image and they don't have a good relationship with food and they fear exercise, and it has this trickle down effect. How much is all of that worth? All right. Because there's a cost. There always is. It's just about which cost we're willing to pay. Is it that 3 to 6 months where it's like, okay, we got to learn what we need to learn and bite the bullet? Or is it years and years and years and years of all this negative stuff building up and getting worse and worse and worse? Because that is what's happening for a lot of people. It's just this kind of willful ignorance is the wrong word, but it might not be. It's just, okay, as long as I don't think about it, if I keep putting it off and I just do this next program, everything will be okay. And it's just one of those things that accumulates years after years after years until you're in a point where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that it got this bad. All right. And then the other thing too is the lack of self-belief, because these programs, these cheapy ones that people hop on, or like the popular ones like Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, Optavia, all those big ones, they give you unsustainable programs, even though they tell you, oh, this is backed by science, this is that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. The majority of people that sign up for those programs struggle and fall off and lose all of their results. Plain and simple. Are there success stories? Absolutely. But those are not the majority. That's the minority, because those approaches are flawed and they are unsustainable. And the reason that these things are so bad is because it tells you, hey, this program that Susie had no problem with, even though 2,000 other people really struggled, but Susie did really, really good. And because she did, you should too. But you didn't, because most people are not capable of sticking to that program because it's a shit program. But now you think, okay, I'm the problem. I suck at this. I can't do this. I have no power in this. But in reality, if you were able to stick to a shit program for like 3 to 6 months, maybe 12, maybe more years than that, like you were able to actually stay on it on a really crappy program. Imagine if you got a program and you learned the skills that were sustainable, like, okay, you're actually able to eat food that doesn't leave you starving all the time. That's going to feel freaking easy compared to the other one. Let's say you're actually able to eat the groceries that you buy instead of having to buy their foods. That's going to save you a lot of money and you're going to feel better about that. Let's say that you're able to do these workouts because they don't have you jumping around like a freaking cheerleader, and your joints feel better and you actually feel better at the end of the workout compared to when you started, instead of feeling like you're dead all day. You're going to want to keep showing up and doing that over and over and over again, and it's going to feel easy. That, but I'll tell you right now, based on feedback I've gotten from the people in the Fit 40 program, you're going to wonder, why does this feel so easy? Something feels wrong. But that's when you know you're on the right program. Because if it feels easy and you see the results, because your inches drop, because your weight drops, because you feel better in clothes, because your energy is higher, because you feel stronger, because you're able to run around with your kids and it's easy, that's where you change your life. That's where a lifestyle change actually occurs, because you're like, oh, I don't feel like this has to consume my life. It's just a part of it. That's the real program that you want to hop on. All right. So you have an option. Like, we have choices here. If you want to, you can waste those small amounts of money for years and years and years and years and get those quick wins and lose all the results over and over again and just never get anywhere and worsen your health. Or you can find a coach, find somebody to teach you the skills that you need to learn. And I'm not saying hire me only, because I'm not the only great coach out there, if I do say so myself. But I'm not the only coach out there that can help you with what you got going on. And there's a lot of really good ones. They usually just don't get the same amount of attention because we spend our time and our money to making a better product, to helping people, and just doing the work. You won't see us on like any gigantic ads. Like, there's not going to be a Super Bowl ad or a special on TV about us, but they're out there and there's really good ones. And the best way that you can find somebody that's going to help you the most is to find somebody you like and trust. And the way that you do that is to consume their free stuff, like the free resources they put out, get on their email list, listen to their podcast like you're listening to right now. And if you like and trust them, there's a good chance that they're probably a good coach, because a lot of the ones that are crappy don't have a podcast. They don't put themselves out there truly on social media or provide a lot of free resources. They just hide behind whatever they got going on. Like, they'll put up posts that don't actually help you, but it's just regurgitating a lot of stuff that you see elsewhere. And that's because they know they're full of shit. They know they're a bad coach. So they're not going to hop on an hour-long podcast and tell you about their method, because they don't know what they're doing. All right. So find somebody you trust, find somebody that knows their stuff and that you actually like. And just know, it doesn't have to be forever. It should be an investment, not an expense. Okay. An investment gets you a return. So if you find someone that you could you can pay them some money to teach you what you need to know, and it serves you for years and years and years, and you feel healthier. You maybe save yourself some medical bills in the future for avoidable things. Okay. That stuff is the return. And that's just the surface level stuff. How about all the time that you're going to be able to spend with your family, like on vacation, instead of dipping out and saying, yeah, I don't want to get in that picture. Or I don't want to go in the ocean because I don't feel good in a swimsuit or something like that. Instead, you're like, yeah, you're the fun mom, the fun aunt or grandma that's like, I don't care. I feel freaking amazing about myself. I'm going to jump right in right now. All right. So that is a gigantic return. But at the end of the day, it should be an investment. You learn what you need to learn, you do what you need to do, and you move on. All right. And if it stings, if that initial pay, the initial price you see stings a little bit and you feel it in your gut and you're like, oh boy, that's usually a good thing. Because if something stings that much, it means that you care. It means that you want to put your effort in the right direction. You don't want to waste your time. And it means that you have that level of motivation where it's actually going to mean something. All right. If you pay $10 for something, you're not going to give it the same amount of care as if you did like $500 or maybe even $1,000. I know some coaches charge that, but I promise you, I don't. All right. And this whole concept of like learn what you need to learn, do what you need to do, and move on is literally how I set up my program. Okay. The initial 3 months, the kickstart is learn everything you need to learn. And then the legacy after that, where the price drops, that's where you do what you need to do because that's the whole reason that drops. I want to make it so that you can stay on the program and do what you need to do. So that way it becomes a lifestyle and you solidify all the habits. And then once you get to that point where you've done that, then you move on. You're part of the Fit 40 army at that point. It's like go live your life, have the best times ever with your friends and family. And then if anybody asks, how'd you do it? You just say, Fit 40, part of the army. What can I say? All right. But if you like what I'm saying, but you're not completely sold on it, totally understand. And if you want to dip your toes in the water and kind of see what it's all about, that's what I do in the Fit 40 family with the challenges and everything and the daily tips. Pretty much just talk about exactly what we do in the program and give out free information so you can apply it and do it yourself. Because in all honesty, there are some people that are going to be able to do it themselves just based on the good information I give. Because I'm a big believer that knowledge should not be there should not be gatekeeping of knowledge. It should be, okay, I'll give you everything you need to know. I only coach people that need help doing the job, not holding back all the information until they sign up. Because if we're being honest, every single thing you need to know to achieve the results that you want is out there right now on the internet. The problem is there's also a lot of really shitty information out there and it takes years and years and years to learn all that stuff and to see if it actually works for you. So if you want to save time and get the result quicker, that's what a coach is for. So if you're interested in that, that's what Fit 40 coaching is for. So if you want to apply and see if it's right for you, get on a call with me, then that's in the show notes and the description. So feel free to check it out. I'd love to talk to you, chat it up. And if it's not right, no biggie. It's totally fine if it's not what you're looking for. But if it is, it could completely change your life. And that is not an exaggeration. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all same time, same place tomorrow. But until then, go kick some ass. I'll see you later.